Hi, I'm Chef Carrie, and today I'm going to show you how to make zucchini fritters with an avocado dill dip. I like this recipe because it's dairy-free, gluten-free, and soy-free. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take one large zucchini, in this case I use 2 small ones, and you're either going to grate it or you're going to use your food processor to chop it up. And then you're going to add half a teaspoon of sea salt, set that aside, and then you're going to want to towel dry it to make sure there's no moisture left. So this has already been sitting aside, so I'm going to now put it into my bigger mixing bowl. And then you're going to start combining your ingredients. So first it's going to be 2 eggs. You want to make sure you're using organic eggs. You're going to add that in. I'm going to use 1 clove of garlic. So there's a little bit more in here because I need some for the sauce as well. So that's about 1 clove. 1/4 cup of fresh chopped basil. 1/4 cup of fresh chopped oregano. A tablespoon of lemon zest. So I used a lemon zester and just scraped the outside of a lemon to get that. So I have a tablespoon of that measured out here. Perfect. And then next I'm going to add in the seasonings. And again, these are to taste, but I'm using approximately 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. You can also use fresh onion. I opt not to in these videos, so I'm not tearing up for the camera. You're going to use a teaspoon of sea salt. So I'm going to measure that out. Combine that in. Followed by 1/4 teaspoon of fresh ground pepper. I just eyeball that since I'm grinding it. So you're going to go ahead and start mixing that together in the bowl until it's starting to incorporate. And then you're going to mix in your flour. So today I'm going to be using a sweet sorghum flour. It's gluten-free. There's a lot of different gluten-free options you can use: white rice flour, brown rice flour, millet flour, etc. Quinoa flour. I like this just because it's affordable and it tastes good. So I'm going to add 1/4 cup of that. And then start mixing that together until it kind of lumps up. So you can see I'm hand mixing. It'll start to solidify a little bit once the flour incorporates into the other ingredients. So once you have that all blended together, so you can see it's a little wet, so I'm going to add a tiny bit more flour just to thicken it up. So once you have that all blended together, I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to start on the dressing, and then I will cook them at the very end. So I'm going to put this over here. And for the sauce, you're going to be using 1 ripe avocado, which you scoop out. Make sure to set the pit aside, and you're going to put it in your bowl here. This gets mashed up, followed by 1 tablespoon of cashews. And I did soak these for about 1 hour in water and then drained them. And that just softens them up and makes them easier to incorporate. So I'm going to measure those in. And then I'm going to follow that with a teaspoon of lemon, which I got from the lemon that I zested earlier. You're going to follow that with your seasonings. So 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. Perfect. Followed by the remaining garlic, which is about 1/2 teaspoon. 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. Perfect. And 1/2 cup of freshly chopped dill. So a little bit extra there. So I have that ready to go. I'm going to mix that in. Mash it together to make the sauce. Okay, and then while I'm mixing this, I'm actually going to get the pan preheated here. So I'm going to turn the pan on and get that warming up. I'm going to keep mixing this together. And you can use olive oil or coconut oil in the pan, whichever you prefer. Make this recipe vegan. You can also use earth balance or butter if you prefer. It's all just personal preference. So I have the sauce all mixed together here. I'm going to set that aside, and I'm ready to start cooking the fritters. So I'm going to take a spoonful of the coconut oil and put it in the pan, and then spoon out about a couple tablespoons of the fritter batter and place them like a spoonful apart from each other. I can put about 4 in the pan at a time. You're gonna wanna cook these for about 2 to 3 minutes per side until they're lightly browned, longer if need be. You're gonna cook them on high heat to begin, and then you can reduce it to about medium heat, and then you're gonna flip them over and cook them for the same amount of time on the other side. So I have those all spooned out. I'm gonna let those start cooking, and then they're ready to serve as soon as they're done. Thank you for watching. For the recipe, please visit my website at chefcarrie.com.